Hello, my Republican friends. I'm sorry I can't be at the meeting tonight. I'm a volunteer firefighter and I'm in a mandatory class for that. So I suggested this video to Matt and he liked the idea. So we decided to give it a try. And if you're seeing me and hearing me now, then it worked. The first thing I wanted to talk about is the current legal challenges related to elections. Fair Maps Maryland, Larry Hogan's group, and Delegate Neil Parrott, who is joined by Judicial Watch, both claim the extreme partisan gerrymandering of the congressional districts violates the Maryland Constitution. There may be a third lawsuit that will be filed soon. In addition to that, 4 petitioners have challenged the state legislative district map based on violations of the Maryland Constitution. Fair Maps Maryland and a group that includes Delegate Cham are challenging the statewide map drawn in back rooms by the General Assembly's Legislative Redistricting Advisory Committee and asking that it be replaced by the map drawn by the Maryland Citizens Redistricting Commission that was submitted by Governor Hogan. There is an additional individual from Anne Arundel County who's filed a petition, and then I have also filed a petition with the Court of Appeals about District 2A in Washington County, which is my home district. And I can explain that petition a little bit. So Article 3, Section 4 of the Maryland Constitution states that due regard must be given to the boundaries of political subdivisions when drawing legislative districts. And as I understand it, that may be the basis of the suit that Neil filed as well. In my petition, I argue that the General Assembly violated the section when it drew an unnecessary multi-member district across county lines for no good reason. I'm also arguing that a population adjustment that was made on the basis of the No Representation Without Population Act is likewise a violation of the Maryland Constitution. The state has argued that there are no constitutional limits anywhere on the General Assembly's power to draw multi-member districts, which I think is kind of an unbelievable thing to say, but we'll see how that goes. What I've asked the court to do is to draw single-member districts in Washington County that match the districts it drew in 2002 as closely as possible. One of those districts will probably have to cross into Frederick County, but both of them don't. Also ongoing is the petition I filed for judicial review of the decision of the Board of Elections to put a new early voting center right on top of our current early voting center on Virginia Avenue. State law there requires the Board of Elections to take into account the equitable distribution of early voting centers throughout the county. The state's own map here shows that there's a 98% overlap between the areas served by the combination of these 2 voting centers. The local board proposed using Smithsburg Library as the 3rd voting center, but claimed it was too small to work as the 3rd voting center without the 2nd voting center at the downtown library. So the shaded area here shows the only voters who were added within the 10-mile radius that the state uses by putting the voting center downtown. So now where do you think those people are going to vote if there's a voting center in Smithsburg? So I'm asking the court to order the Board of Elections to select a 2nd early voting site that obeys the law and takes the fair distribution of voting centers throughout the county into account. As I said in an earlier meeting, if anybody has any recommendations for an early voting site in the county, please do send them to me at gopseth@outlook.com. The second thing I wanted to do was talk about some of the recent changes to the Central Committee. In accordance with the Central Committee bylaws, Brian Tanna left the committee when he filed to run for county commissioner. Brian was elected to the Central Committee and proved himself to be a strong supporter of our Central Committee and the Republican Party in Washington County. And I want to thank him very much for his years of service on the committee. Deb Steenberg, also another member of the committee, resigned for some personal reasons. Deb did a lot of good work for the Central Committee, and we all really appreciate everything she did. That left us with 2 vacancies on the committee. We decided to fill one of those vacancies by nominating Malik Cham, and Malik has served as a proxy to the state party convention in the past and actually filed last year to run for the Central Committee. So we're very happy to have Malik on the Central Committee, and we will be nominating another person to fill the remaining vacancies soon. Now at this point, I do want to make it clear that the Central Committee does not endorse any one Republican candidate versus another during the primary. The Central Committee is committed to supporting all of our Republican candidates equally during the primary. We strongly believe that the choice of the party's candidates is completely up to Republican voters and not the Central Committee. Malik was nominated to the committee prior to his filing to run for treasurer. Matt is also a former member of the Central Committee and is running for treasurer. So it's up to everyone to decide whom they want to vote for, not us. It's our job to help whomever you all choose to get elected. So speaking of that, the third thing that I want to tell everybody is that we now have candidates running for every elected position in Washington County. That's the first time that's happened in at least 20 years. The Republican Party is doing great things in Washington County. Yesterday was supposed to be the filing deadline, but because of all of the legal controversy over the General Assembly's maps, the court ordered the filing deadline extended until March 22nd. So if anybody is interested in running for office, it's not too late. Please get in touch with the Central Committee and we'll let you know what you need to do to file. The State Board of Elections is starting to make noise now that the legal challenges are going to have to require some sort of change to the current plan for the primary, like delaying it, for example. So this is a developing issue that we're going to have to watch closely to make sure that they don't mess things up again this year like they did in 2020. So with that, thanks for your attention and have a great meeting.